Hey guys, I'm J.C.Hollywood. This is This Week in the 80s for the week beginning April 30. We begin this week in 1988, on April 30, when a young Canadian woman representing Switzerland with a song in French is about to win the Eurovision Song Contest in Dublin. That woman was Celine Dion, and that victory was about as dramatic as it gets. With only votes from 3 countries remaining, the United Kingdom held an almost unassailable lead. Unfortunately for them, 2 of those countries were France and Yugoslavia, and they didn't care much for the UK offering at all, awarding them 0 points. Dion was quoted as saying that she knew she was going to win because people kept telling her she was going to win, which is possibly the only time in history that a stage mum was actually right. In 1981, the #1 song in both Australia and America was 9 to 5, bracket, Morning Train, close bracket, by Sheena Easton. The song, originally simply called 9 to 5, had to change its name because it was hitting the charts at almost the same time as Dolly Parton's 9 to 5. It would go on to become one of Sheena Easton's biggest hits, finishing the year at number 7 on Australia's year-end singles charts. On the 3rd of May 1988, 2 of the most iconic albums of the 80s were released, with Living Colour's Vivid and Poison's Open Up and Say Ah. Vivid featured the song Cult of Personality, which would go on to win the band the Grammy Award for Best Hard Rock Performance, although not until 1990. Open Up and Say Ah was the 2nd album by Poison, and it was their most successful, reaching number 2 on the Billboard charts and featuring their only #1 single, Every Rose Has Its Thorn. The song's country music feel has been attributed to the band playing in a cowboy bar called the Ritz when they were writing the song. But that country music feel didn't translate to Australian audiences, where the song peaked at number 16. Arguably no band enjoyed this time of year more than The Cure, who released an album in either April or May for every year of the 80s, with 2 exceptions, those being 1988, when they didn't release an album at all, and 1985, when they released their classic Head on the Door in August. This week saw the release of Pornography in 1982 and Disintegration in 1989. May the 4th, 1984 saw the release of 2 of the 80s most loved films, with both of them going head-to-head in a battle for #1 at the box office. Coming in second was 16 Candles, the first of John Hughes' coming-of-age films, starring Molly Ringwald and Anthony Michael Hall. The film was fueled by a killer soundtrack which featured songs like True by Spandau Ballet, Turning Japanese by The Vapors, and Rebel Yell by Billy Idol. While casting the role of Ted, played by Anthony Michael Hall, Hughes said that everyone that auditioned came in and did the typical high school nerd thing, complete with horn-rimmed glasses and pocket protector, but Hall played it straight, like a human being. Wasn't all straight playing though, and the less said about Long Duck Dong, the better. Beating 16 Candles for top spot was the unexpected hit Breakin', the success of which spawned a sequel, Breakin' 2 Electric Boogaloo, just 7 months later. The film features an early appearance by rapper Ice-T and was released before his music career took off. He recently confessed that he thought Beat Street, released a few months later, was a better film, describing Breakin' and his performance as whack. We finished this week in 1984 with the May 5th wedding of Pretenders singer Chrissie Hynde to Simple Minds singer Jim Kerr. We can only assume that troubles arose when he got her wrong and she simply forgot about him. The marriage would last 6 years though, making it through the 80s, which is enough for us. Well, that's it for this week, guys. Thanks for joining me. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you back here next week for more This Week in the 80s.